if there is no death. But does that death have to be a crucifixion?
Did you say if there is a resurrection? But I've raised the dead.
But not all of the dead, huh, Jesus? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I've been waiting for this for a long time. You raised Mary and Martha's brother. You raised Jairus' daughter. You even raised that woman from Naam's son. But you didn't raise mine. You didn't raise my son. My John, he served you well. He served you. He made a way for you. He prepared the way for you. He was my only son. And he did everything you needed done. Everything. My only child. And you let him, stayed out there in the wilderness acting crazy for you. He baptized for you. He taught for you. He called out the vipers for you. But you let him go to jail. You let him go to jail. You let that wretched Antipas get a hold of him. You let that incestuous Herodias have him. You did not set him free. You let him go to jail. Instead, you let her have his head. Yes, you did. But even though he was dead, you could have raised him, but you didn't. You didn't raise him. You let my son die and stay dead. You didn't raise everybody. And since you have not died yet, you have not made your way back to God. Where is John now? Where did John go? Where is my son now? I have no son. I have no husband. I have no grandchildren. Or am I just supposed to be happy because he was part of the plan?
Well, I know where you go when you die. I believe I'm the only one at this table who does. But I've been wondering if I would have been better off dead. I want to tell you, healing doesn't always lead to happy. You assume that being restored to life makes you happy as if things are better down here. I was 12 years old when you healed me, sir. I was a happy little girl. I played, I sang, I helped my mother, I was my daddy's darling. That's why he ran to you. His little darling was dying. I laid there with that fever thinking you were on your way. My daddy can do anything, but he was going to bring you to me just to heal me. I laid there, and the last thing I hear was my mommy screaming. And then I went to that place. I saw all the people in the stories I heard, Father Abraham, Moses, and all the saints. It was beautiful, and I was happy again. Someone told me this was not the final place, but it was good enough for me right then. Your son is just fine, Elizabeth. But then I was snatched back to here, and I can hear the wailing and the mourners and the crying, and I was back, and I wasn't the same. I was happy to see my mommy and my daddy and even you, my Lord. But since then, people look at me strange. Like Lazarus, people think my miracle's just going to run out. So no one thinks I'll ever get married. Daddy is all worried about caring about me for the rest of his life and being alone for the rest of mine. Healing doesn't always lead you to happy.
I know what you mean. I'm the one that held up your healing. I'm the one that the Lord stopped for to give a healing to. I didn't intend for him to stop. I just wanted the bleeding to stop. See, I thought once I got my healing that I would be happy too, but I wasn't. I went home. My husband had moved on. My kids was calling another woman mommy. Yeah, a woman was in my home, wearing my clothes, sleeping in my bed. I wasn't wanted in or needed there. There was no room for me there. I thought I was going to just die. I was gone for 12 years, as long as you've been alive. See, yeah, you've been alive for 12 years. I've been dead for 12 years. I don't know how I'm going to go on. People still look at me and treat me as if I'm bleeding. But what they don't know is that I'm bleeding from my soul, not my body. Did you know? Lord, did you know that this would happen? Sometimes I wish I would have just bled to death.
Did you know, Prophet? Well, did you know? You weren't, I could have told them all that you didn't think this thing through. You were thinking about Jairus and not his daughter. You were thinking about the blood and not the woman. You were thinking about the work and not John. And you were thinking about Lazarus and not his sisters. Did you think this thing through, Prophet? I could have told them all. And now you're facing your own death. Have you thought about your own mother?
No, I am trying to be patient with you. But you are wearing thin on my nerves. Think about all of this. There is a reason for all of this, but you wouldn't understand.
Well, here's what I don't understand. How are you sure you will be resurrected? You have raised others back to life. Who's going to raise you? How are you sure you will come back to life?
Because I trust my Father. Because he has never failed me yet. He's always come through. Anything that I have ever asked him, he has done.
How are you going to ask them if you're dead?
Because we have a plan. It is already done.
Well, listen to my story. I had worked for years trying not to be noticed. I was bent over, and so I couldn't see how people looked at me, but I know they had disdain for me. I knew they blamed me for being bent over. Everybody thinks God is punishing you for some secret sin if you're disabled. And so I had gone to that synagogue, mastering the art of going unnoticed. And then you called me out. And to my shame, you made me walk all the way down the aisle. It seemed like it took me forever to walk down that aisle. And when I got to you, you loosened me from whatever was binding me. That was what I thought was freedom. Now people who had always dealt with me behind my back now have to deal with me face to face. They don't like it, and I don't like it. Sometimes I have to remind myself to stand up straight because it was easier to bend over. I have for 18 years watched feet walk away from me, and now I see clearly what's coming at me. I was hidden, but now I'm seen. Oh, and people got jokes. Everybody's a comic. They ask me, how's the weather up there? But I reply and respond the same way. When's the last time you got those feet washed? But if you go into the grave and do not come out, I will be more bent over than ever before. You straightened up my faith that day, not just my back. I'm afraid I don't have the faith that you do.
I remember you walking down that aisle. I wanted to see you walk to me to see just how bad you wanted to be healed. And you just walked to me. You never complained. But what I need you to do now is to walk with me.
I just can't. I want to, but I can't.